Hey everyone, this is me, TimeLiarG, and welcome to another Video Game Mysteries, Oddities, Secrets, and Urban Legends video. This one is on my favorite game of all time, Sonic Adventure, and I hope you enjoy it. If you like the video, feel free to like it, and subscribe if you want to see more cozy videos like this one. Just before the video begins, feel free to leave your own theories for all these discussion topics in the comments below, and I'll go ahead and read them. Also, if you find the hidden honey in this video, I will pin your comment as well. The first oddity and mystery we're going to be talking about is this one door that's on the ceiling. It's kind of on the ceiling anyway, it's on the wall. It's near the second beat room where all the beats are spawning in at, which another fact is actually you can stop those from spawning if you destroy enough of them. It seems like they're coming out infinitely, but you can actually destroy them all. But that's not really what the mystery is about. It's about this door that's on the wall. And you can see it when you come in the room, and you can also stand in the back of the room when you're inside, and you can see it near the ceiling as well where all the pipes are coming down at. You can actually jump across the pipes to reach this door, and it just does not lead anywhere. It leads back out to the area where you came from. I have no idea if this was going to be some kind of early path to go through the stage with, but I think it might just be there for show as well. You know, not everything needs a purpose, obviously. You put some stuff in games for, you know, the atmosphere, for role-playing purposes. It could just be there for fun. Who knows? I don't really have much else to say on this one, though. It's going to be a common trend with a lot of these, where I'm not gonna really know what to say about them. But I just like pointing them out and coming up with theories on why they exist. But I pretty much have nothing on this one, so leave your comments down below what you think this is and what it's used for. There's not a lot to talk about on this one either, but this is the Big the Cat sewer door. You can't really call it an oddity or a mystery because it's self-explanatory, but it's a nice piece of trivia. Normally, this plays at a very low volume. You need to have your volume turned up pretty loud to actually hear Big the Cat's voice line on this, but when you go down to the sewer, you know, you lift up the car, you go down the manhole, and as you're going up to Twinkle Park, there's a sound clip of Big the Cat saying ow, because his tail's actually clipping through the door. I absolutely love, you know, when video games are this soulful. This is one of the reasons why it's my favorite video game of all time. There's just so many details in it. You know, they didn't have to add a voice clip to make up for a character's, you know, body part clipping through a door, but they actually did. It's very soulful. I like that a lot. But yeah, your volume does need to be up pretty loud to hear this, so I wouldn't be surprised if a whole lot of people miss this. Plus, I mean, you know, who really plays as Big the Cat outside of, you know, the mandatory, you know, unlocking Super Sonic and everything for the final story, but that's it for this one. Speaking of Big the Cat in the sewer area down here, you can actually fish for items here, and any other pool of water in the game as well, I'm pretty sure. I didn't test all of them out, obviously, but I spent a long time as a kid trying to get this one door to open in Mystic Ruins. It's the door to the shed. It kind of looks like the door to Tails' house that flies open when you get near it. I always thought that there was some way to get in there, and a part of the reason for that is when the GameCube version came out, I saw a rumor that you could actually open it up and you know, go inside and collect something. Maybe it was like an emblem or something they said, but you know, I collected all the emblems back then, both on the Dreamcast and on GameCube, and you know, I figured that there wouldn't be another secret emblem or whatever, but I did, you know, try certain methods to try to get it open. One of the rumors said you needed to collect a certain amount of rings on the hub world, so you know, you could just use the rhythm badge as Tails and just try to get rings that way. With the little patches of grass around, because you can keep reloading the area and going in and out, just collecting rings like that. Yeah, that was one of the things I tried. I tried doing that and it didn't open. And then just a few years ago, I clipped inside of this shack because I was making a Sonic Adventure Iceberg video. And I clipped inside of it, and there is absolutely nothing in there. It's completely invisible. There's not even a floor or anything. I think there's collision, though, because of the ground beneath it, even if it is invisible. You know, there's just nothing inside the little shed. This would be a perfect spot for an emblem, though. I know there's one on the cliff side, and that's really easy to see anyway, so having the emblem in here, like the burger shop in Station Square, you know, it would just be a pretty neat place to put an emblem. Maybe that was the original plan, they just didn't have enough time to design an interior for the little shed. Speaking of Tails' house, I always found his workshop to be pretty strange. You can walk inside here, obviously. I'm pretty sure most people have entered this place, but, you know, realize that there's nothing to do in here and then just leave. But if you actually try to walk into the scenery, there's no collision on them whatsoever. You can even clip through the wall a little bit, too. You won't fall outside the map or anything. It's just very odd that things don't have collision in here. I theorize that this is supposed to be a cutscene area only, but they just decided to put some collision on the floor and just called it a day, pretty much. So just before Sky Chase happens, there's a cutscene, obviously, where he opens his front door, and you can kind of see a little bit inside the room. So that's probably why this was you know, modeled in here. You can see a little bit of objects here and there. Didn't spend too much time on it, but still pretty neat. You can enter inside. I like that. Some buildings for role-playing. You can just walk inside, look around at everything. And on top of his roof, there's this strange little perch. I guess it's Tails Lookout. He can kind of look out at everything around the area. I know everybody already knows about the prototype to Windy Valley, but I just thought I would talk about it for a little bit anyway. It's really interesting. So in pre-release footage, it shows Chow running around it, and I'm assuming that was just an early Chow garden. I don't think they would be in the stage itself, obviously. Who knows? You know, it could be a thing. I just never heard about that in any kind of interviews. All this stuff I saved in my own archive, I never seen any kind of, you know, information where it shows Chow are going to actually be in stages. That kind of reminds me, though, of Nights into Dreams with the Nighttopians running around and everything that you hatch from eggs. It's kind of, it uses the same A-Life system, too, so, you know, maybe that was going to be a thing. That would actually be awesome. Could you imagine you're running through Windy Valley and there's just a Chow garden sitting just randomly in the level somewhere? That would be awesome. Anyway, there's also screenshots or footage. I think I might have footage of it, of Big the Cat running through a prototype Windy Valley, so he was probably meant to be there, unless that's just for show. You know, it could just be for show with the pre-release footage. Very strange stuff with Windy Valley, though. I just wanted to point those few things out. Seeing Chow running around it is really interesting. I apologize for adding certain topics that everybody already knows about, but those about the Sonic statue that you can build when you get 5,000 rings in Casinopolis. You know, 5,000 for the head, it's 2,500 for the arms, 1,000 for the body, and 200 for the feet, so it all adds up to 5,000. And this takes a very long time to get. You can see in the footage that I think I spent around over a half hour just getting the arms, so it does take a long time. I didn't want to stay to get the 5,000. It's disappointing, I know. I've just been pretty busy lately, so I didn't really have enough time for this. With this Sonic statue, it disappears after you leave the stage, and you have to rebuild it again every time if you want to see that again. And what's strange is that after you leave a pinball machine, it actually does disappear entirely, but as soon as you deposit rings again, it reappears. It's just, you know, something with the script, the coding. You have to refresh it. Outside that, I just thought it was interesting to talk about. It's fully built in Knuckles stage, and, you know, you can destroy it as Knuckles. It has nothing to do with you building it, by the way. It's just always built like that, no matter what. So I think that's pretty interesting. So I couldn't get any footage for this one because I don't want to delete my Dreamcast save files, and I also don't want to waste my own time with this because it would take a very long time. You have to play the game up to Super Sonic Story, and then, you know, don't finish the game, just... You have to go through the entire game without picking up the Crystal Ring, so, you know, just skip it on that upgrade and then pick it up during Supersonic Story, and two things will happen. If you exit the game and go back in, you'll see an unused Supersonic recap where it's, you know, going over what's happening in the story and whatnot. This is completely unused, and I'll just show a few screenshots on the screen since I couldn't get footage for this. But once you pick up this Crystal Ring, it saves, which is not supposed to happen in Supersonic Story, and then you exit the game, go back in, and your save file is completely done for. You are trapped in Hedgehog Hammer, the subgame, and it's, you know, normally Amy is supposed to be in here, but you load in as Sonic, and you just load in a Hedgehog Hammer as Sonic when you're not supposed to be in there, obviously, and you're just endlessly falling into the abyss. Just endlessly, and there's no way to escape this. You can't pause and hit X. Well, you can exit the game, but you're just going to be put back in there again anyway. So this is quite the weird oversight. I don't know how they missed this one. You know, I guess it's just... They probably rushing during the end of development, so it's very odd. But yeah, this doesn't work on the GameCube version, and it does not work on the PC Steam version. It doesn't work on PS3, Xbox 360. I didn't try it on those versions, but... I'm just hearing what other people have said about this. Apparently it only works on the Dreamcast, so they apparently fixed it on the other versions. I don't know what happens when you pick up the ring during Supersonic. Maybe you can't. I did not test that out myself, so very, very interesting. You know those two rooms where you get Gamma's upgrades from in the egg carrier? The one that has a jet booster in it has this very strange elevator. It's actually a pretty cool looking room. You can head upstairs, but there's absolutely nothing up there. It seems like it would lead somewhere, but it just doesn't. It's just another way to get out of the room, I guess, even though there's a spring downstairs, which is actually missing in an auto demo version of the game. So, you know, you can't actually leave the room unless you take the elevator up that way. So I guess that's probably the reason for it. But outside of that, in the final game, this just serves no purpose. And I think the upgrade might have actually been up here at one point. I have no proof or evidence for that, but... I do have a feeling like the upgrade would have been up here. There's just a strange platform that you can step on And outside that, there's nothing here. I don't really have anything else to say about this either. I think in pre-release footage, it actually shows other characters here as well, which is pretty odd. I don't think you can actually enter the upgrade rooms as other characters either, so I could be wrong on that, but that's just what I'm remembering. I think I saw this one on Sonic Cult back in the day. So there's this hidden room in Final Egg right at the end of the stage where the capsule is. You can spin dash off the floor and go over the barrier and out of bounds into this hallway that leads to the Egg Viper boss. So supposedly in an earlier version of the game, the capsule was supposed to be placed at the end of the hallway, just before the Egg Viper, so they kind of just moved the capsule backwards to the platform where it is now, and it's right in front of that giant Robotnik symbol on the wall. I love the texture on that, by the way. It's a very cool texture. So it's kind of fitting that it ends there, and not right in front of the boss. It would be kind of weird having the capsule right there at the end. By the way, I try to actually get back to the capsule, but I don't think there's any way to actually leave this room. You can't, spin dash up the wall and go over the barrier again. I think you're actually stuck here, so there's nothing else to do but just look around, and there's not much to see either. There's not any kind of item boxes around here. There's nothing, no enemies to see. There's just a straightforward hallway. It's still really neat though. I really love stuff like this. Very cool. Speaking of Final Egg, right at the end of the stage, just before you use the light speed dash across the gap to get to the capsule, there's this elevator, and it's not really a secret or an oddity because, I mean, you can see it just when you're going through the stage normally. It's not hidden or anything. But this elevator takes a very long amount of time to come down. It's a couple of minutes. And once you wait for it to come down full, you hop on and you have to dodge these 3 spike balls on the ladders. And for your efforts of your patience and, skill navigating the ladders, which again, it doesn't really take too much skill, but anyway, once you're all the way up there, you can see 4 extra lives, and that's it. There's absolutely nothing else up here. Even though I said this isn't a secret or an oddity or, a mystery or anything, it kind of is actually. I mean, 4 extra lives, really. The Casinopolis hidden passage in the sewer area. I always felt like I was missing something with this one. A lot of people online say that this is unused, it's not intended by the developers, but as soon as you drop down the sewer area, you can look to the right, and you can easily get up there with Tails or Sonic, and that's another thing. Some people online say that you can only get up there with Tails, but you can obviously just easily jump up there with Sonic, no problem, and go through the entire pathway, and them saying it's unused or unfinished is pretty bizarre as well, because there's item boxes in here, and it even changes depending on the character too, so there was clearly thought put into this. Maybe they mean that it just kind of ends abruptly with nothing going on and there's nowhere else to go inside there, but I mean, not every passage needs to lead somewhere. I think this one is fairly obscure because I haven't actually heard a single person talk about this, so this is kind of the same with Big the Cat and his fishing rod, except it's with Tails and the rhythm badge. So in Station Square and Mystic Ruins, you might notice some darker grass laying around. If you remove it with the rhythm badge, you can actually sometimes, very rarely, get an item ring box out of it. Most of the times you'll get 1 ring or a couple of rings, but very rarely you'll actually get a ring item box, so it's pretty interesting. This is rarely ever talked about nowadays, if at all, but on the original Dreamcast version of the game, there were discussions on old personal forums from the 90s and the 2000s about players seeing something running through the jungle portion of Mystic Ruins. The descriptions of this creature aren't very detailed, as it's only seen for a very small amount of time before it disappears or runs. The next time you're in the ruins, perhaps you'll see something out of the ordinary. If you're walking through Mystic Ruins and you start to hear the Amy's Mirror Room theme from Twinkle Park the fakery way, it's advised to turn off the game. You can change the color of Sonic's snowboard in the game by pressing certain buttons before the board actually appears. Sonic's board goes from blue to partially yellow, and something of note is that Tails originally had an orange board during development, and this board can't actually be changed for some reason. I don't know why it's always the same color. You think that if Sonic can change his board color with this Easter egg, you think Tails would as well, but no, it only works with Sonic. I'll also mention the oddity that you can duck while on a board for some reason, although this serves no purpose whatsoever. Red Mountain has a lot of mysteries and oddities, not really on the surface, but the inside of the mountain itself, where you can see these prisoners chained up with a ball and chain around their ankles, and I don't know if those are supposed to be badniks or not, or if it's just some other kind of creature entirely. I don't know why they're down here. I don't know what they did to be down here in the first place. Why is Red Mountain even used as a prison anyway, and why are there electric chairs down here as well? There's so many questions you can ask about this place. It's very interesting. And Red Mountain always, reminded me of Pumpkin Hill. It has the same flame skulls that, shoot the flames out and everything. That could just be a callback to, Sonic Adventure 1, though, from Sonic Adventure 2. I think I originally found out about this from a V thread where I was reading about Sonic Adventure and someone mentioned how there were supposed to be ghosts in Red Mountain. And in the auto demo, there's textures for this ghost, and it kind of just looks like the the bed sheets. Kind of similar to RuneScape 2 with Port Phasmatis, where you're walking around with those bed sheets on. Kind of looks similar to that. It's pretty funny. And there's apparently also animations for it too, and models. I haven't seen this in action though. They didn't post any GIFs or anything. I think it was just images of the textures, which I'll show on the screen right now. Just very interesting stuff, actually. I don't know if this was going to be an enemy or not, or if it was just going to be, a background aesthetic. I have my own theory that it might have actually been the original prisoners behind the bars. It would have just been ghosts floating back there, but I'm not sure. I have no idea. Just more oddities with Red Mountain. This one is going to be a very short one, but it's about the blue rabbit logo you can find on an object in Speed Highway, specifically at the At Dawn area. There's just this blue rabbit that's, I don't know, a mascot or something in universe where I don't know who he's supposed to be, but it could be a reference to when Sonic was first being created, and there's concept art of him as a rabbit named Feels. So I don't know if that's a reference or not. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Could just be a random design. Also, just as a random side note, this isn't a mystery or oddity or anything, but I just figured I would show you how to escape from the city in Sonic Adventure 1. Here you go. This is the reason why I love this game so much, honestly. It's just, you have so much freedom. And thanks for watching the video, everyone. I'll be uploading more videos like this soon. May God bless your day, your week, your life, and farewell.